Hi paper friends, welcome to another mini episode of a little bit of paper and fountain pen chatter. I am coming to you yet again with my currently inked fountain pens, which are behind me on the desk, with Cat who decided to join me today. So let's see how I'm gonna do this. But I will turn the camera around so you can actually get a close-up and a little bit of a sample of the writing with the current pens. Before I do that, I did want to tell you that I went from 2 inked pens to, well, it kind of got more and more in the past weeks and days, and currently I'm at 8 pens which I have inked. And the reason is that as I've told you before, that I have collected pens and all throughout my life, and not crazily, just kind of like look at the flea market, find a nice pen, buy it if it's affordable. Plus then my husband giving me a few, and so I am refamiliarizing myself with all the pens that I own, and sometimes out of the spur of a moment I go through my pens and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this one, let's clean it, let's ink it. But that's the one approach. But the other thing that I've found myself doing is that I think about the pens that I want to have inked, and I have decided that which I've told you already, there should always be a pen inked, which was gifted to me by my husband. And I have several vintage Kawecos, so I've decided that there should always be a Kaweco inked. And I also have a few Pelikans, so a Pelican is a must. But when I grew up, those were the 2 main fountain pen companies for the kids in school, the Pelican, but also the Geha. And the other day I thought, oh wait, I haven't used a Geha in a while, so I decided there should also always be a Geha. So we have the Kaweco, the one from my husband, the Pelican, and the Geha. Those are musts. And then whatever else I feel like adding to the collection will be added. And it also, I find myself feeling encouraged to write by the diversity of what's inked at the moment. And even though at times I struggle with what to write in my journaling, I have the moments every day where I decide, okay, I will sit down now to write. And I write whatever comes to my mind, even if it's, I don't know what to write about. And then usually something comes, something happens, and yeah, then I end up writing a few pages, which is nice. But yeah, I didn't mean to tell you that. And now, yeah, let's just turn around the camera and see how we can figure this out with the cat. I did have this perspective so you can actually see my desk. It's a generous size, and yeah, that's where you will look at this desk in a moment. Okay, I would like to start with this Geha pen. This is I would say a very simple school pen. It has a piston filling system. I believe that's what it's called, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But the main flaw that it has is that there was a crack in the cap up here, and I what's the word? I didn't do a very good job in fixing that. When I pulled it out, I saw the crack. I thought, well, I have Gorilla Glue. I'm just gonna squirt that on and tension it with rubber band. That's what I did. But as you can see, the rubber band also wanted to stick to the cap. Otherwise, can't tell you anything about this nib. It is probably in the medium range. Gosh, this thing writes beautifully. I doubt it's a gold nib because it's just a very simple pen, and you know, it doesn't even have a name or anything else. Oh, it does have Geha 708 on it. Sorry, never mind me. Don't listen to anything I say ever. Okay. Just gonna write this. The number was 708, whatever that means. It's really smooth. Some flexibility, which I like. I can put on some pressure. I like that. And it is inked with one of the samples that I recently got from Goulet Pens, Monteverde chocolate pudding. I did want to show you how I keep my my little samples. Here's this guy. And I have them in the box with all my inks in a little container, vintage Geha, by the way. And the way I do this, when I sampled the color, I made an X on the lid of the ones that I had already swabbed, and then the ones that I actually put into a pen, I did the check mark, so I won't lose track of which ones I have written with, and because then I can look them up, you know, because I have my pen and ink notebook, and I can go to the pens and look for that specific color because it's going to tell me what color I've used. Okay, this was number one. The next one I have, I call Heidi's pen. I am fairly certain that, as well as the Geha that I just showed you, this one also comes from the flea market. Gosh, I keep thinking that I found it in Germany, but who knows? I've also been at a flea market in Maryland when we lived there at some point, so who knows? All I can say is I couldn't have paid a lot for it, but I don't know if it's related to the inscription. I don't mind these. In fact, I love them because I think this is a story. I keep thinking about Heidi. Heidi, why did you give up your beautiful fountain pen? Who were you? Who was Malcolm? It's kind of like a story, and I wish I knew the story of this pen. This is a Sheaffer, and gosh, the nib, I mean, look at this beauty. Is that amazing or what? It's a 14 karat gold nib, though I must say it must be an extra fine, and I'm not a fan of fine and extra fine nibs, but occasionally I ink those pens anyway. I shouldn't keep it open without writing. This guy, I'm going to write the name down as much as I know. Sheaffer. Let's just call it Heidi's pen. Heidi's fountain pen. So it's inked with a cartridge, and I don't know if any of my converters fit. I didn't try that. But what I'm using it for right now is actually something where the fine writing fits very well. I have a small notebook which I use as a running log and where I comment on my runs. So I want to write, it's a small notebook and I want to write small. So this is great. I mean, if you don't keep it open before you write and talk for writing, very small. This is perfect. Otherwise, I feel like my handwriting not as nice with a fine nib or an extra fine. I feel my handwriting grows, I mean literally, but also like in the sense of like looking nicely with a broader nib. So I showed you the Geha. Let's do the Pelican next. This is a Pelikan 400. Also not sure where it came from. I'm pretty sure they make these again, but this is an old one, and it has, as you can see here, it has some damage where I don't know how it happened. As far as I know, I got it already with the damage, and it could have been some heat, it could have been some acidic glue. Your guess is as good as mine. It does not bother me because, oh my gosh, when you open this pen, this is just the most amazing nib. And I want to call it a broad italic. Maybe you're better at specifying. So please leave me a comment if you can tell me anything about this. It's definitely a, let me see, a gold nib. I don't know what it says, if it says 14 karat or what. I can't make it out now. Sorry about that. But it just, this nib just writes so beautifully. And it's a very saturated ink flow. I'm just going to call it a broad italic nib. Sorry, I needed to, oops, shaking. This one is inked with Noodler's ink, Cactus Fruits. And can we just say that a bottle like this makes you want to get all the colors because it's just so beautiful. I love the way they label the bottles. It really makes me want to own them all. Okay, that was the Pelican. Let me move these guys a little bit over. Next, let's go vintage. Stay with the vintage pens. This is my Parker. Don't know what the model is. Don't know how old it is. I'm really a little bit upset with myself that I didn't ask about more details about the pen, because I cannot tell you what it was called. And yeah, I tried it out, fell in love with the way it wrote, and also the way it's loaded is something that was completely new to me. You just pump that little thing back there and that's how it suctions. Oh, dang it. Oh, today I find all the things. It is a Parker Dualfold. Wow. It says it on the pen. Already earlier I saw something on another pen which I will show you, and I feel like sometimes it depends on the light, and if you sit on your desk in the evening with artificial lighting, not even your best reading glasses can help you see things that are kind of hidden that way. I'm so excited. Parker Dualfold. This looks like a stub nib to me. Where the other one was slightly slanted at the end, this one is definitely straight. I'm really struggling with the focusing. Okay, I hope you can see this. Okay. Ah, we have a name. Parker Dualfold. And it is inked with diamine orange. It's kind of cool that you can, this is slightly see-through, so you can actually see how much ink you still have in there. Kind of. So, here's the bottle of ink. And let me just say, thank you for making these look so much prettier now. Because, yet again, this one makes you want to own them all. Whereas this one, yeah, nice in color, boring bottle. Even though everything is the same except for the label. And I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah, I got the ancient copper just recently. Next is, let me continue with the other vintage pen, and that's my Kaweco. It's a Kaweco Dia with an extra fine nib and a number on the side, where I do not know what the number means. If you know anything about that, please do let me know. Another very fine nib. Too fine for my normal taste, but whatever. Kaweco Dia, the number it states here is 83A. Whatever it means. And EF. And it is inked with a very dear to me and special ink that I purchased while I was on vacation in New Orleans. because we came across this store and we visited, and I got a pen and I got this ink which is custom made by them, and I saw a written sample and I'm like, oh, I want this ink. So pretty. It's hard for me to write so tiny with such a delicate nib. It is a gold nib. I'm trying to read writings on there. Does that say TA 40 or something? Maybe it's not a gold nib. Thought it was. Okay, doesn't matter. I love all of my Kawecos. In fact, I'm going to have some of them fixed very shortly, which I just tested out and I realized they're broken. Let's stay vintage. This is called Bobino, and I got this in Germany. And in fact, I must tell you that just before I started recording, I looked this up online and I saw that you can get these on eBay, Bobino. I was not at all familiar with the brand. I just like to try it out. And I'm very certain it was not a pricey pen because of just it looks cheaper in a way, and it has a stainless steel nib that says 12A. Yeah. But I love the way this writes. This is inked with J. Herbin. Vert pré. I think it means green pasture, I think. This is how the bottle looks like, and I think it's really a fabulous, beautiful apple green. I thought that on this paper it does not look quite as good as on a fully white paper because of the color of these lines. I think they distract from the beautiful green. So here comes my workhorse Lamy Safari. I lucked out. I think at Mom's hometown there was a little paper store with a lot of school supplies and stuff like that. And I was in Germany when they were about to close. So I got a bunch of these on sale, and I feel like I didn't pay more than 10 euros. I have a pink one for my daughter, which she already took to San Diego. I have a black one that I got for my son. You saw me using this just recently, and I told him about it, about the pen, and he actually decided to take it also and use it. And you can imagine that made me very pretty, very happy. And I wasn't surprised to find that I had picked, it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I had chosen the yellow color for myself. And now when I inked it, I had inked it with the Citrus Ice Shimmer ink. Lamy Safari. Wow. The neighbors' kids are happy. Diamine Shimmer. Citrus Ice. These are really workhorses. I think even when I haven't written with this one in a few days, it still reliably, immediately kicks in. It writes consistently. And I would prefer to have a broad nib on it, but I'm fine with this one too in the meantime. And at some point I will get that. Yeah. That's my Lamy Safari, and now the jewel of the currently inked fountain pens. Should show you before I open it. This is one that my husband gave me. It is called, and I will read this to you because I cannot get this into my head. And the name, actually, I have to say, comes from Uncle Tank Victor on Instagram. This is an Omas Extra Paragon Arco Bronze Celluloid. That's the correct name, as I know from Victor's post. Okay. Omas Extra Paragon Arco Bronze Celluloid. I'm shaking the camera, sorry. And this is inked yet again with another one of my beloved shimmer inks. Inked with Diamond Shimmer. Golden Oasis. Just yesterday I had this one moment where I thought I will have to own all of these shimmer inks. It's gonna happen, I tell you. $750 gold. I mean, there's, what do you even say? This needs not a single comment. Even though I must say one thing. So this guy, initially after inking it, it skipped on me, like in a very frustrating way. You would write a whole sentence, all of a sudden it would skip a letter. And it made me very nervous. But the longer I've been writing it with it and using it, the more I feel like it's almost coming to life, and that's really nice. It's just one of those pens that want to be used and need to be used and need to be loved. Also, I hadn't used it in ages, so that is also not really good. And I hate to confess that probably when I stopped writing with it, the last time I didn't clean it out. Bad, bad, bad. So don't do what I did. Always clean your pen after you've used it. So I feel like I wanted to show you one more thing. Yes, of course, my ink cards that relate to my currently inked pens. This one, the moss green, the golden oasis, the vert pré. Oh, it's not a shimmer. I don't need to tilt it. Citrus ice. Ah, this orange is just so great. And cactus fruit. Yep. Love them all. The Sheaffer was inked with a random cartridge that was out of the package, so I did not know what would come out. So it's kind of like a pinkish purple color, very similar to the cactus fruit, but like I said, it came in a cartridge. Yeah, and this is it for today. I showed you my ink bottles. Oh, one more thing that I did think about showing you. This is the citrus ice, and you can totally see how the glitter sits on the bottom. So you really have to shake these guys. Let's see what's happening here. So fun. And there are apparently some with silver glitter, and the golden oasis is one of the golden glitter ones. I think the next one that I will have to use is this guy. My Spearmint Diva Shimmer. These are my 3 shimmer glitter inks, which I love so much. Okay, and this was now really it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment about what you love to write with best, what you have inked up currently. I'd love to know more about your inky and papery adventures. Bye!